Yeah, very cool. Itu ano ako. Head ko no ako. Por hello ni. Ay ko na ka. You know I just 761. Ó ti ọwọ́ àbí o. A lè jẹ́ fóònù gidi. Ṣé tẹ́ wá káàkiri ni? Ojú ò ṣe tí. Ẹ tí mo sọ pé fóònù yín sọnù.
Hello, Mr. Yusuf.
Hello, Mr. Yusuf. Dr. Lai. Can hear you.
We are going. Where we go sit down now? Maybe we feel sit down for that side now. No be. Yeah, 2-0. Oh, 2 round. You guys have no organization than them.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Yeah, thank you very much. This is already 10:01. Please, I would like to start the program of RSS Nigeria local group. We have it as modeling biological concepts and also training on LaTex. And I want to believe that everyone has downloaded the softwares needed for the LaTex presentation so that we can be carried along. We are meant to come for a training, even though the time will not be that long, so that we can quickly finish, but at least be able to gain 1 or 2 things that we can always improve on it via the Google platform and YouTube, but at least to have the basic knowledge. So you are welcome, everybody. We have quite a number now, but we are still expecting some. We have, good. We have 43 participants already online. So without wasting much of our time, I would like to call on the RSS chair, in person of Dr. O.M. Online remark or welcome address, so to speak. So you are welcome, sir.
Hello. Hello, good
sir,
morning,
you're
everyone.
welcome. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, thank you. I hope you can hear me clearly.
Very well, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, I want to welcome everyone to this Royal Saskatchewan Society Nigerian Local Group event, Modeling Biological Concept, and also training on LaTex. So RSS Nigerian Local Group is one of the local group of RSS of Royal Saskatchewan Society London, and basically we are based on promoting the use of statistics and data in Nigeria. So we organize so many events and free for members and those that are interested. So today also the events have to do with modeling biological concepts, training on LaTex. So I know that we are going to enjoy today's event. And also I welcome our speakers. Today we're having two speakers. Dr. O.S. Oyamaki from Department of Statistics, University of Ibadan, and also Dr. O.S. Ario from Department of Statistics, Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. Thank you and enjoy the workshop and the event. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. So right now we'll call on the first speaker, the person of Dr. O.S. Oyamaki, to take us on modeling biological concepts. Dr. Oyamaki, over to you. You are welcome.
All right, thank you. Sorry for that little pick up there. I will try not to delay you so long because I believe the concept we are discussing today is a concept that you have come across one way or the other, progress in the field of statistics. By the way of introduction, modeling is a concept that is closer. Get it? Can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
Am I the only one? I can't hear. Oh, you find it
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you, but interference from those speaking.
Oh, okay. Please let everybody mute so that if you have any question or comment, you can drop it on the chat window. I believe that will help us reduce the interferences.
Also, Dr. Oyamaki, please, there is echo from that side. I wonder whether it's your fan or something, if it's possible to help us.
Okay, yes, it's my fan. Is it better now?
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay. Let me try share my screen. Yeah, what I'll be talking about today is what I call modeling biological processes with hyperbolic restrictions. Like I said, while introducing the context, modeling is something that is applicable to every area of life. In fact, we can start from the concept of having a lady that is a model. When you type model on Google, the first thing you see are beautiful ladies who are, who displays some kind of beauty the way they want to do it. But what they're actually doing is to act in a certain way, move or walk in a certain way. That is an example of a model. Now, if I have to model something, it means that I want to create a direct replica of the concept to which I want to model. Life or living thing is a concept we learned from our secondary school days. And these are some of the 7 characteristics of a living thing. Movement, reproduction, response to stimuli, take on nutrients, respiration, and excretion. These are some of the things that we know are characteristics of living thing, and are the key characteristics, or function that is exhibited by a subject for us to describe that concept or that subject as a living thing. Life itself is an aspect of existence, okay, that processes, acts, reacts, evaluate, and evolve through growth. We can find an example of this in reproduction and metabolism. And the crucial difference between life and non-life or non-living thing is that life uses energy for physical and conscious development. And this is why it is very, very important, the concept we are describing today. Now, let's go back to what we know as a scientific model, okay? A scientific model is always a conceptual model that describes the real world, okay? Of course, it is meant to be governed by some certain assumption for its validity. And immediately you have it validated, it is used, it produces results that you use or that is used in describing the world from which the data is extracted from. So we expect a scientific model to be a simplification of a process, okay? We also expect it to represent an object, system, or concept. Most times it contains the smallest number of parts that are necessary to describe the real thing. Of course, it can be static and dynamic, okay? And most times it is a small or larger representation, okay, that is designed to show the structure or function of the real thing that is being described. Statistical models generally are useful for 1, making predictions, okay? 2, understanding relationship, and 3, to assess differences. Like I said here, for example, if you look at the rate of headache relief for migraine sufferers who experience a magnetic pulse sufficiently higher than those in the control group to advocate for the magnetic pulse as an effective treatment. Okay, we can also, like I said, making prediction. We want to know what becomes of the process that we are trying to model. Okay, or in terms of interventions, okay, which at times we call predictor. If I put in this predictor, what will be the likely impact on my outcome variable or response? So these are some of the usefulness of statistical models. Yes, that is this four-step process that describes statistical modeling. 1, we must choose a form of the model, a form for the model. And this has to do with identifying, response and explanatory variable and their type, okay? Of course, at times we go through the graphical display to help just suggest a model that might summarize relationship between these variables. The second step, okay, is to fit model to data. And this usually entails, estimating model parameter based on the sample data. And most of the time, we use statistical software to do the necessary number crunching to fit model to data, okay? And that is when the computational aspect of our job as a statistician comes to play. Of course, another one is to assess how well the model describes the data, because it is one thing to fit a model to data. It's another thing to establish whether the model that has been fitted to the data actually describes the data. So one component of this involves comparing the model to other models. Okay, you can say we have model A, model B, model C fitted to a particular data, and we can then compare among these models which of them describe best the process. Then we can also use the model to address the question that motivated collecting the data in the first place. Of course, there is a reason why the data is collected in the first place. So trying to look at the interpretation or the result from the model as a way of telling us whether or not the essence of the collection of data for that purpose has been achieved. So back to the elementary. Okay, I believe we know that, let's see this first set of data that we have and the pattern that is inherent in it. The first one, set A, say moderate linear association For this, a basic linear regression model is suitable. And now coming back to what I said the other time, model is a word that is used in almost every field, okay? What we call statistical or regression model in statistics, okay, especially the simple regression model, is a model that mimics a straight line, just like we have in mathematics, okay? That's a straight line. The equation for a straight line is y equals to ms plus c, okay? These are equations that we expect that they should produce a straight line. So when we have a diagram like this, okay, where the points are, they are patterned towards a straight line, then we assume that a regression model should be suitable for such concept. If you look at set B, you can see that the points are no longer going in a straight dimension. Of course, we can see that a curvilinear relationship exists here, and this suggests a nonlinear regression. Okay, the set C, okay, has an outlier embedded in it. We can see the outlier here. Okay, so it means that this requires further examination, actually, to know whether the outlier is an authentic information or it is a mistake or a typo or an experimental error. Also, we have set D, whereby we have only 2 values for X. Of course, for this, a redesign is due here because obviously maybe X is a dummy variable and it's exhibiting these 2 values. So the context of our modeling starts from visualization, whereby we look at the pattern that is inherent in our data. So moving forward, for a linear relationship, we know that the y cap, which we often call the predicted y value on the regression line, is defined as we have the y cap equals to intercept plus slope x, where slope is our beta, intercept is our alpha, okay? And we say, looking at this diagram, if we have this diagram, okay, it means that we expect a negative slope. If we have this, we expect a 0 slope. And if we have this last one, we expect a positive slope, okay? So our model or estimated model, which oftentimes we call the mean function, can now be described as y cap equals to variable name x plus a constant, all right? The constant in this context is the intercept that we have defined above. So this is a model that describes a straight line. Okay, moving forward, I move straight to what do we mean by growth, because like I said, we're talking about modeling biological processes. All right, so there is a need for us to know what does growth means. Okay, growth is a biological phenomenon, and it is one of the well-known features in creation, which can be described by the expression of changes on the mass and volume that occur in time on the focus feature. And this is by Agbas Y at August 1998. Now, I'll put beside here a description using forest as an example. Okay, or in describing forest, there is always a dynamic inventory. This is the record of the growth and yield or measurement of tree records that is kept either in the institution or in the office. Okay, but this dynamic inventory on its own cannot give us what we call a resource forecast. All right, okay. The static inventory, if you multiply that with the net area, we can have what we call resource estimates. For example, I want to know the vegetative cover that exists in Ondo State. Okay, if I have the static inventory, which are the measurement of stands from that area, and I look at my map to get the per square measurement of the landed area, of course, I can get what we call the resource estimate. But it is only with a functional growth model that we can obtain what we call the future stand. Okay, and with this future stand, we can now look at the estimate of the area alongside the future stand to obtain what we call a resource forecast. And that is what we are talking about. That is one of the importance of some of this growth model. Moving forward again, the growth model most of the time assists forest researcher, and manager in many ways. Some important uses include the ability to predict future use and to explore silvicultural options. Of course, even in medicine, okay, we talk about intervention options, okay. In order to come up with interventions that can be suitable, whether to improve or to reduce a particular outcome, they are product of a functional growth. Looking at this, okay, we said, okay, the context of growth model can still be, divided further into 3 different areas. Your growth model can target increment, it can target mortality, it can also target recruitment, as described in the algorithm that is placed here. Okay, this algorithm gives us the understanding to see the various evolution of these trees when they are still young, when they are big enough, when they are being recruited, and when they are dying. So this concept is very, very essential. Is important. Please let us mute our microphone, please. So moving forward, this model we're talking about can be deterministic, okay, and can be stochastic in nature. A deterministic model gives an estimate of the expected growth of a system, okay? And like I said the other time, the mathematical model is a description of a real system using mathematical concepts and language. So when we have a representation of the essential aspects, of an existing system or a system to be construed, then which represent knowledge of that system in usable form. So the process of developing, mathematical model that can be used, to solve a particular biological problem is what we term mathematical model. Okay, because a model helps us to explain a system and to study the effects, inherent there. Now, let's quickly look at what we term the evolution of this growth model. Now, the first growth model that we have came as a result of the Malthusian perspective, okay? And it is referred to oftentimes as the uninhibited population growth. The equation is given as the PDT equals to KP, or at times you see it as P prime T equals to K dot PT. Okay, the expression is in the red box for us to follow. It is the red box beside, and it's the basic model of inhibited unrestrained population growth. Whether the population is comprised of human, bacteria, or anything, okay, that we're interested in, it means that this population, this is a model that describes growth that is not hindered, okay, or growth process that is not bounded at the top. Okay, of course, to researchers, this poses a lot of issues because we cannot say a process grows, unlimitedly. Okay, so it means that as time increases, okay, the process also increases, and it goes like that infinitely. So this is also a problem on its own, even though it has been found to be usable in some areas, such as heights. Now, application of this exponential growth model, which is generated from the Malthusian perspective, of course, it's applicable to microbiology in terms of the growth of bacteria. It's also applicable to conservation biology, restoration of the stock population, insect rearing, plant or insect quarantine, population growth of fishery, and human population projection. I give an example of the Oyo State population projection by MPC. Okay, this is presented, and And the exponential growth equation often the model that is used for this description. Okay, look at this slide, you will see that, okay, 1991, Oyo State had a population of 3 million plus, and in 2006, Oyo State had 5 point something million plus. Okay, that is 5.58 million people. Okay, and using the exponential growth equation, it was discovered that Oyo State population was growing at 3.2% per annum. Okay, which means that the population of Oyo State in 2006 is expected to be doubled in 2 years' time. I think that 22 years' time is less than 8 years now. Okay, and so this projection gives governments opportunity to plan. Okay, if the population of my state is going to be doubled in the next 8 years, what are the practical things that is on ground to mitigate this double? What are the policy on food security? What are the policy on housing, on transportation and all that? So the projection gives, a policymaker the understanding to make evidence-based decision, and it gives them also policy options. Okay, so I move straight to the logistic. The logistic model was developed by a Belgian mathematician, okay, and it is an improvement on the exponential equation, growth equation. This, because of time, I simply just want to give the key points, which are the points between the exponential growth equation and that of the logistic. In exponential growth equation, a population per capita growth rate stays at the same point, regardless of population size, making the population grow faster and faster as it gets larger. So in nature, population may grow exponentially for some period, but they will ultimately be limited by resources or by resource availability. This point is where logistics became relevant. So in logistics, the population per capita rate gets smaller and smaller as population size approaches a maximum imposed by limited resources in the environment. And this is what we call the carrying capacity. Okay, so if we plot of an exponential growth equation, it's also always like a J or plot. We'll see in the next slide how this is. Please let's advise those that are still talking to mute their microphone, please. Okay, and so like I said, the exponential growth curve produces a J-shaped curve, while logistic growth produces an S-shaped curve. And the implication of this S-shape is that there is an introduction of the carrying capacity, okay, which I describe as A the other time. Now let's look at this diagram that I put here. Now I have this comparison. Like I said the other time, exponential is this J curve. You can see the curve. J is looking like a J curve, and look at that of the logistic. Okay, it's looking at an S curve. That S curve, in fact, if you liken this to what we know in probability, is like we are plotting the curve of the cumulative density function. And cumulative density function at N is expected to flatten and maintains 1. And that is the concept here. Logistic growth equation, at that point, it has reached its maximum asymptote, and it is termed the carrying capacity. The population is not allowed to grow over this population. Please, Mr. Mohammed Okayemi, please. Let somebody appeal to him to mute his microphone, please. Please. So moving forward, there are other models that are included. Okay, we have the molecular growth model, the Richard's growth model. For Richard's growth model, there is an introduction of another parameter. Okay, it's a generalization of the logistic growth equation through an introduction of a parameter that takes care of the point of inflection. And the point of inflection is the is the point is the point at the process of growth where growth rate is maximum. So, and there was an introduction of the parameter B, okay, that takes care of this point. Then you have Gompas's growth model, and we have please, Mrs. Praise Anu, please kindly mute your microphone, please. So now to the modification that we have done, we felt, having studied this evolution, seeing how the Malthusian perspective has been introduced, has been solved to become an exponential growth equation, and that has also improved into what Verus did and called logistic growth equation, to the Gompas's growth equation, to the Richard, and like that. We now decided to look at some of these limitations. Of course, like I said the other time, that the exponential growth equation has a limitation of not being bounded at the top. So it's a population that is unhindered. It grows infinitely. So how can we contain this and have a reasonable, estimate from the projection that is done using the exponential growth equation? So that's led us to the study on the hyperbolic functions. Okay, of course, we know that the hyperbolic function derive their name from the trig functions, trig family, which are the sine, cosine, and the tangent function. So one of the most important, their major importance is that the three main types of this hyperbolic function are defined in terms of exponential function. And this is what I have presented here. Okay, for the cosec function, we have exponential raised power x plus e raised power minus x divided by 2. Okay, and the sine chess function is also expressed in that form. Then we have also the hyperbolic tangent function. So the tangent function was actually repeated twice, but it's actually the tangent function. Okay, is expressed in this format. And we decided to plot the curve of this function. The first here is the plot is the plot of the cosec function, and that of the sine chess function, and we have that of the tangent function. And if you look at this, cosec function, we can see that we cannot describe the growth that we are talking about, because you expect growth to be from below upwards. Especially the only time we feel that this can be appropriate is when we are talking about root system. Maybe if my interest is to model the growth of tubers of yam or cassava, of course I expect that the beginning of their growth is from the root of the plant down to the tuber. So a cosec function at that point can be used as a modification. But in the context where we are talking about heights, we're talking about growth, germination, and all that, then the cosec function will not be applicable. So, and when we have a situation whereby the growth rate is slow, extremely slow, that it takes years before you have a noticeable, change in mass and volume of a particular concept, then it would be nice to look at the tangent function. But for this study, we look at for this presentation, we look at the tangent function. Of course, we look further into what the tangent function can offer, and we discover that the hyperbolic tangent function and its inverse provide an alternative method for evaluating integral 1 over square root of 1 plus s squared dx. And if we make substitution to this, we can have this expressed as sine chess, the inverse of the tangent function x plus c. Okay, since this is not a definite integral. Now, the following proposition was seen to be a consequence of the integral above, and we look at the change with respect to s of this inverse hyperbolic tangent function, which reproduce the integral through which we have started from. Okay, and also using the substitution, okay, that is range minus pi over 2 and between minus pi over 2 and plus pi over 2, we're able to obtain the solution of this integral above. I mean integral 1 over square root of 1 plus s squared dx to be log of the absolute value of x plus square root of 1 plus s squared then plus K. Now, going through the initial value problem to see the actual value of this K, we assigned 0. We look at what the value of K will be when X takes on value 0. And looking at that, led us to evaluating both sides of the equality at S equals to 0. And we actually discovered that K vanishes, K becomes 0. So in looking at that, it gives us the impression that, okay, now for computational complexity, we can actually look at, we can estimate, we can compute this log of the absolute value easily, unlike having to deal with the inverse hyperbolic sine function, okay, plus C. Now, what we have now done is that since we have seen that the curve, of course, the curve of this function is left out, but the curve is not so different from this, the curve of the tangent function here, okay? But the only thing is that it looks more of a logistic curve, meaning that it has a bended curve that has shown some element of boundedness, okay, as against what is known from the exponential distribution. So what we simply did was to now use this function to condition this function on the rate of growth. And that is how the proposed differential forms were developed. And that is what we see in this next box, development of the new growth models. So what we did here was to look at, first, Malthusian perspective says change in height or change in P with respect to time equals to RP or RH, depending on the context or the system that you are modeling. So that H is height, that R is the rate of growth. So what we have done by bringing the R back is to now show clearly that the modification that we are introducing is a modification to mitigate the rate of growth, to slow down the rate at which the process goes by introducing what we call an allometry parameter, tan theta, okay? And what this theta does is to act as a stopping variable. For example, if you model using an exponential growth equation and the growth rate is extremely large, meaning that the process can be blown up easily, the allometry parameter that has been introduced will checkmate this rate of growth by reducing the rate at which it increases the process or the system. And that is what we have done. This hyperbolic sine function was now conditioned was now used to reparameterize the Malthusian perspective, the same with the monomolecular and that of the compass, okay? And like I said, that considering the function in I simply just described the reason why the cosine function cannot be used in this context, okay? And I've also discussed where it can be used. So we move further to solve this differential equation, which is change in height with respect to t equals to h into brackets r plus theta over square root of 1 plus t squared. So using our method of variable separation, we can separate the variable and we obtain the value of h, which is given as h equals to a e raised by r t plus theta arc sine chess t, where this a is the initial, if the process we are to model is height, okay, it will be the initial height from when the measurement, when the recording starts. For example, if you are using this to model brain tumor, okay, so we look at the first record of the measurements recorded at the first time that tumor was measured, okay, as to subsequent measurements that are taken over time, okay. That is how the parameter A is described. And of course, R is the rate of growth, the intrinsic rate of growth, and the theta there is the allometry parameter, okay, that is meant to check the excessiveness of the rate of growth. So this was also done for the monomolecular equation, growth equation, and done for the compass equation. Okay, and this model have been, they were 5 of them actually were developed and applied. And for those that are interested in the application aspect of this model, you know, it was applied in this paper that I put here. The citation is here on comparison of exponential and hyperbolic exponential growth model in height diameter increment of pi, genus Caribbeans. Okay, that was where we applied the hyperbolic exponential growth equation, which was an improvement on the exponential growth equation. And the second slide talked about where the modified monomolecular growth equation was also applied. Okay, this was also published in Science Domain International. And finally, the Gompers, the hyperbolic Gompers growth equation was also developed and applied, okay? And it was published in the National Journal of Mathematical Computational, Natural and Physical Engineering. For those that want to look at the application of some of this model, they can look at those paper. Thank you for your time. And these are the references used in the context of the presentation.
All right, thank you, Dr. Yamaki. Thank you so much. So without wasting our time again, let's quickly welcome the second presenter, Dr. O.S. Ario, for LaTeX training. Yes, LaTeX training. So you are welcome, Dr. Ario.
Thank you very much. Let me share my slide. I believe you can see my slide.
Very well.
Yeah. Today, we'll be talking about LaTeX for research collaborations. I have an idea that there's some people, you are aware of LaTeX, what it does, and some people know how to use LaTeX, but though some people don't, I want to combine those set of together in the few minutes that I have to show to us how we can collaborate research within our university, with people outside the university using this LaTeX. Now, I will just quickly ask this question: why LaTeX? Why is LaTeX? Because it's actually it's give a kind of beautiful output. You can actually structure very well using LaTeX. The management of internal reference is fantastic when you're using LaTeX, and also management of citation. There's no way you will cite a document and you will not be able to reference it. You know, all those things using LaTeX, you are covered. And also in LaTeX, you can customize your work. You can, for example, if I'm using a Beamer, a presentation, I may want my Beamer to look a particular way that I don't want any other person to use the same method. You know, you can customize, you can make, and also it is easy. You can convert file easily. For example, if you submit a paper in maybe in a particular journal, maybe in a journal from Elsevier, and the paper is rejected, I want to submit again to another paper. With LaTeX, you can easily convert the reference styles and all those things. Also, LaTeX is commonly used now. Yeah, I will introduce not some people to different LaTeX editor. LaTeX itself work like HAR. You know, when you have HAR in your system, you have HAR Studio. Now we have editors we can use to run LaTeX. And I believe some of you have installed some of this editor in your system, as we're going to do some practical work now. Now we have some of this, we have online source, and also we have what we call the open source. The open source, for me, I use Text Center. To some people, I have a colleague who use Text Studio. We can use TextWork and different. There are more other open source LaTeX editor. Now, also we have the online LaTeX editor, and one of the most popular one among this Overleaf. And today I'm going to demonstrate how we can use Overleaf to collaborate research to actually work, not only to write mathematical question, it's the use of LaTex, use of overleaf is more than just writing equation, but you can use this to actually to collaborate with other researchers. Now, before I move on to open source, I want to know what is the difference between the open source and the online. For the open source, you can work on your own. There's no way you can collaborate with people with open source. What you just need to do if you want to collaborate is just to send your PDF output to your collaborator. But when you're using online source like Overleaf, you can actually, a collaborator can make input to your work. Your collaborator or even your supervisor can edit your work. They can track everything that you are doing in real time. I'm going to show us this in the course of this presentation. Another thing is that when you're making use of open source, you use space on your system. At least you use about 3 gig on your system. Now, I put the disadvantage, I put them in red, while I put the advantage in blue, and ones that are not neither advantage or disadvantage, I put them in black. Now, for the online, you have 0 gig. You don't need any data. You don't need any space on your laptop to work. Now, in also the open source, you need compiler tools, and that compiler tools can actually make the work difficult sometimes, especially when you are working with a PDF that is not compatible with what you are using. And on that one, I actually have that problem. But when you are working with online, you don't need compilers too. Now, for the open source, you can create your own templates. You can be creative with it. But if you are very good, but online, you can steal some good templates, from online. Now, the internet, but the advantage here is that you don't need internet to work. But when you're using online, you need internet. And also, there's no issue of security issues, but when you're using online, there are security issues because you need to submit your password, your email address to a database that you don't know who manage them, all those things. They are just security concern. But if you're not bothered about this security, today the reason before I asked us to install some package on our system, but because of time and because some people may not have will not be on the same page when we are talking about the open source. Because if I install Text Center and somebody has not installed it, it will slow down the work. But I'm going to demonstrate the online because I believe that every one of us here, we are online. And therefore, it is safer for me to work online. I think you will agree with me. Now, let's just go, we have to start doing something now. Just open your web browser and click on, just put Overleaf. Just write Overleaf. Are you with me? Yes, I assume you are with me. Hello? Now, here, you see something like this. Quickly, you can just register. You can register, you click on register. Now, when you register, you click on it, then you put your email address. I will not put my own. You can start doing that now because we have limited time and I want to demonstrate some things. You can put your email address there. I will not put my own email address because I've already have I've registered already. You can put your email address, then you put the password and you fill the form. Then, but with that, you are already online. You have registered with Overleaf. Now, let's work. I'll give you 1 or 2 minutes to do that. Then the next thing, you will see something like this. Why you are doing that? Then let me continue with the presentation. Now, how do your first document, if you want to prepare your first document in LaTeX, this is how the Overleaf will look. Now, at this part, you will see, this is where you write. And on this part, you can see what you are doing in PDF. But this is different when you are using, the open source, because the open source, every time you have to, compile and recompile because you can see, although it also happens here too. Now, when you are writing, the first thing you need to do is commenting. How do you comment? Now, if you comment like this, I want to be practical with what I'm doing. Now, can someone send me his or her email address? Now, I want to demonstrate how to collaborate. Can you see my new slide? Can you see my overleaf? Can you see my can somebody send me
Yes,
his or her
we can
email
see.
address? Just send me your email address. Anybody? I want to create a new project. Then I will invite someone. Yes, Bekele. Yes, yes, 2 people. Because of time, let me just I will just pick someone down. Here, I'm creating a new project. Now, let me create just academic paper because a lot of us we're working with academic paper. Then I'm going to steal this. Let me use the word steal now. I'm going to use a template. Now, I will open it. Are you with me? Just try to follow what I'm trying to do. When you have this, now somebody designed this templates, then you want to make use of the templates.
Doctor, I think we can only see your PDF, not the.
Yeah, let me can you see this now? Can you see the JU sample, whatever thing?
No, it's still your PDF. I can see from my end.
We are not seeing your screen. What we are seeing is commenting first example.
Okay, let me try to show the other one. Since I'm not showing the PDF, I think you should be able to see it now. Can you see the overleaf templates?
We are still seeing the commenting slide.
No.
Let me stop sharing. Now let me reshare again.
You can reshare.
Okay, let me reshare. Share screen. Okay. Now, can you see this?
You're just
now?
like, okay, yeah, we can see the overlap now.
Now I can share. Now I can invite someone to join me in this work. Now I'm inviting Ibekele Olalekan at Gmail. Now, Ibekele, you have to see that on your email, then you will join me to work together while others can follow us. I'm trying to look for other person's email address. So I'm finding it difficult to open a lot of and somebody send me another email address or something. I can't find apps. Ibekele, have you accepted my invitation?
We have Jamil. Okay.
I'm trying to
FM_Yamaki.
FM. Now let me just type it directly. FM_Oyamaki. Abi?
Yes.
All right. At Gmail.
Okay. N King Oyamaki. K-I-N.
Oyamaki, yes. At Gmail.
Dr. Oyamaki, is it Gmail or Yahoo? Yeah,
Dr. Oyamaki.
At yahoo.com.
At Yahoo.
Okay.
At yahoo.com. Now, let me try to invite just 2 people. I can invite up to 10, but because of time, let's just invite 2 people. Now, Ibekele is here now. What we need to do now is Ibekele, you will be working on that introduction. Now, I can see Ibekele here. Please mute your mic.
Those that are not talking should please mute their mics now.
Then I have another email. Fola. Let me invite the other person. Let's make it 3. Yamaki not accepts my invitation. Bekele has accepted my invitation. Now, let's, sorry, just pardon me, I will not use the slide again. Let's just, I think we can be working with this. Now, someone is helping me with this already. Danny, someone is writing. Now, I will clean the abstracts from, from this template now. I can change the name. I can change most of the information that I have. I can put, instead of Anon Mustafa, I can just write my name on it. Now, I want the other person, Ibekele Olalikon. What everything I'm going to show to us now, you will be working on that introduction, so that people, you understand what I'm trying to say. Ibekele, I don't know the person, but I'm just.
Yes, sir. I'm with you, sir.
Yes, yeah, you can work on that introduction. Why Dr. Yamaki can just work on that, maybe currents, another, you can create another subsection where we can, where you can work. Now, the next thing I want to show to us, now, that means that as I'm working with Overleaf, I'm working with two people now, and they can contribute to this work immediately, and I can see what they are doing at every given time. Now, let's start with commenting. Now, how do you comment when, for example, now Ibekele make sure that they are correctly formatted during whatever is writing already. Let me also continue writing. Now, I can put this sign. Can you see the sign? Can you see the sign? Now, this sign, yes, anything I write is my first document. Now, everything I write here will not show in the main document, even if I compile it. But if anything that means that even if I comment this line, that thing will not show again in Overleaf. That is one thing I want to show on that commenting. The next thing is, how do we prepare? You cannot see my slide again.
You can still see.
No, I mean the slide.
No, not the slide. You are not seeing the slide.
You are not seeing the slide.
Yes.
Okay. I'm seeing my slide, but I will talk. Maybe you can get it right. The next thing we need to know is, how do we create your LaTeX documents? Now, in creating LaTeX documents, we need what we call class documents, which is you either have a book, or you have a report, or you have article, paper, letter, or Beamer. What I'm using to present is Beamer. It's not the PowerPoint. And Dr. Yamaki makes use of PowerPoint, but I'm making use of Beamer in LaTeX. Now, I will send the document to maybe the participant later so that we can do some practical. Now, the next thing is, how do you break the lines in LaTeX? Now, let me start with subsection history. Let me just try, let me go through can you still see my slide?
I only see the Overleaf page.
Yeah, let me stay with Overleaf page then. Now, for the Overleaf page, now under the introduction, I want to show us this. Now, under the introduction, I'm writing. Sorry, I told them somebody to write under introduction. Let me write methodology under another section. Now, the person that is writing under introduction, you can also write anything so that we see it together. Now, under the introduction, I may want to break the line. Let's say under the introduction. Now, the person is writing, I'm introducing myself. Now, you can break the line. Let's say, this is how to break Now, let me just, you can put this line. When you put this line, let me run it. What we are doing. When I run it, the statements like Bekele wrote now that this is an introduction to LaTeX. Now, if I can help Bekele to put this line, can you see? That means that anything you write after that line will be on the second line. You understand? Bekele, can you write again? Can you write something after that line? Dr. Yamaki, you are writing, you can write below that comment. Now, yes, we are following. Now, you see that yes, we are following is down. Can you see? That means that
Yes.
when time you are writing LaTeX, you use 2 lines /line to be able to know. The section I'm talking about now is LaTeX appearance. How do you want your work to look in LaTeX? Also, you can use what we call new line. Now, Dr. Yamaki, you are writing something, I can write new line, new lines. Now, this new line, once you write anything, new line. Now, if Dr. Yamaki write anything now, it will be in the new line. You understand? You can find a lot of things in this in my Beamer presentation. I've actually put some keyword that you can use. Also, you can make your work to appear big. Now, this I'm introducing myself. I can say large. I can put large. When I put large, then if I put it here, the word will become large. Can you see it's become large a little bit? Now I can make it huge. I can make it huge. Are you following? I can make it huge. You see,
yes.
The word has changed. It has become huge. Now, this is appearance. It's not only, LaTeX is not only for making mathematics questions. You should be able to know. Also, you can put color. You can make your work colorful. You can say text color. Text color. You see the column, text color. Text color, you can have blue. Anything you put here. Now, I am introducing you to LaTeX. Now, let's make it in color. Now, if you put it here, you run it. It changes to what? Blue. Now, let me leave that side. You can turn it to tiny. Also, there are headers and page geometry. But for now, when you are using online, you don't bother yourself about the page geometry because the templates you are stealing, the templates you are making use of, we have done that for you. At the initial stage, you can do without that. The next thing is the packages. What are the packages we need in our... Now, let's look at here. Let's look here. Can you see here? Can you see where I highlighted here?
Yes.
Now, you see document class. Now, under the document class, you have A4 paper. That means that anything you are writing will be on what? A4 paper. And will be on one side. And that material will be an article. If you are writing a book, instead of putting article, you put book. You understand? Now, we have different packages used here. But for now, you may not bother yourself about the package if you are still learning. You can make use of templates. All these templates you have put in package. We have some packages that work with mathematics tools. We have the package. I can send you some materials that that you can read about this package. The graphics package is when you want to put figures in your work. And also the mathematics package, which is not here, I guess, is when you want to put write some mathematics equation. Now, let's move on. Let's move on. Yes. Now, in Overleaf also, we have paper layout. And I don't need to say anything about the paper layout now, because this example we are using actually give this paper layout. Then how do we reference in LaTeX? That is one of the areas that's very, very interesting. Now in LaTeX, you need to download the text file already. Now let me show you. Let's say this is Google Scholar. Can you see my Google page?
Yes.
Yes. Now let's say I want to cite this paper. Let's say I want to cite this paper, and let me just put. Let's say I want to cite any paper. Let me just put this. Just writing any paper that comes to my mind. Now, when you see this paper, and I want to cite this paper, I'll just click on Cite. See Cites. Automatically, I can cite using different. I can click on Cite. I can use. You can have EndNote for those who use EndNote, reference maths, reference works. You can see big tech. Now you copy it. Now you copy it. And these templates, you can in these templates they don't have bibliothèque templates. Then what you need to do is to create your own folder. You create extra folder here. This place, if we change what I'm trying to do, we need to change it. What's it's not here. Now you can, I don't want this thing to attack. Now you can have a document, something like this, that will carry bibliothèque. Then you now put everything inside. Now when you put all your reference type, now you will know the name. Let's say you want to put this name, but to make it for me to understand, to remember this, I usually put very short notation. Now, anytime you are writing in LaTeX and you want to cite, if everything is done properly, you just let me go back to the introduction. Let's say we want to cite here, because it cites. If everything is done properly, all the materials you have downloaded in your file, in your bibliothèque file, will come up. Now let me show you. Let me show you how this works. I will stop this slide and I will show you another work. I will stop this slide now. I will show you another overlay. I just want to show you how that works. Now let's can you see my my overlay?
Not yet.
Let me share this. Okay. I just want to show you how the can you see this?
Yes.
Now this is my own overlay account. Now I have some papers, I have some work that I'm doing there. Let me just pick this work. Let me just trying to show. Okay. Now let's say here I've already put all my reference here. If I'm writing, let's say I want to write something here, I can just here, I can say cite. Now, it gave me all the reference that I've already installed. I've already downloaded in the bibliothèque file. Can you see? Now, if I want to cite this one, I can say this said, agreed, or can say this this author shows that so and so on. Now that is how to cite. Can you see how it gives what it gives here? Now, you know, it said Ario et al. 2019 shows that. You know, when I use site, but if I'm using site P, let's say site P, the site P, I can put this. Can you see the difference between site and site P? No, for the site, you have the name and the year in brackets. Can you see this part I highlighted? Can you see the site that? Yeah. Yes. But when you use site P, you have the reference in brackets. You understand? That's the difference between site and site P. Now let's go back to our overlay that we are working with. Now let me try to share that again. Okay. Now we are back. The next thing I want to show us before we start mathematics. Now let's go start some mathematics. How do we write mathematical questions in LaTex? Now here, I wish you can see my PDF slide and this one at the same time. Let me try to see if I can do that. I don't need them just at the same time. I'm conscious of the time. Let's have this sliders. Let me stop sharing. Okay. Can you see my slide? You can only see the template again. The overlay template again. Okay. Yes. Now let's just make use of what we have. Yes, let's just make it up. Now, how do we write mathematical equation? Now, under the introduction, I'm writing something now. Under the introduction, I'm writing, let's say I want to write a mathematical equation. I want to say, now the first thing is how to write. You put $2 sign like this. Anything you write inside be a mathematical equation. You can say y underscore a is equals to, say, b times y. You know, when you write something like that, I'm just trying to and you run it, you have this equation. But you can the equation will be within it will be within your it will be within the write-up, the line. For example, if I want to put the equation in this statement, I can copy this. Let me copy and put it there. Don't worry about the sentence. I'm just trying to show something. Now, under this history, you will see that the equation is within the sentence. But if you want to make that equation to be on its own, you can make use of $2 sign like this and put the equation. You can write as many equations. I'm going to give you all some equation to write now. Then you are going to use your own overlay, and somebody can share his or her own overlay with me. Then you see the difference now. When I put $1 sign, I have within. Can you see where I highlighted here? But when I put $2 sign, I have it in separate line. Now I can also make use of begin equation, and end equation. If I put begin equation, end equation, anything I put within, we automatically the equation we are going to know I'm going to have the equation number. Can you see I have equation 1? Now I can also decide not to number that equation. I just need to put star here, and I'll close the star here. Then when I run it, I have equation, the number, I don't have to number the equation again. You understand? And I'll show us how let me give us some practical work to do. Yes. Can you write this on your own overleaf? Can you write this on your overleaf? Is it possible? Now let's Ibekele write. I can see what Ibekele is doing from here. Let him or her write this, or him now. Can you please write? Oh, you can't see. But you can see my PDF now. Hello?
Sir. Hello, sir.
Can you see my PDF?
We can see your PDF.
Yes, I can see
yeah. Now, I wrote mathematics, math. Now, can you get a write what I wrote in that? Can you write it on the LaTeX template? Everybody, you can do it on your LaTeX template. Can you try that? Now, can you try that? If you have any question, if you encounter any problem, you can let me know. Then I'll tell the reason why you. Ibekele, you are not writing. Dr. Oyamaki. Okay. Now, because of time, now let me write it myself here in the template box. You can have. Actually, I want someone to write to. Yes, Dr. Yamaki is writing. Am I right? Now you can say. Now, you now write the formula for DIC. Now you begin the question. I want you to practice some of these equations here. Now, you can practice some of these equations maybe now or maybe on the later time. Now, let me continue with my slide. You can see my slide now. Let me continue with my slide. Now, in this slide, you can write something like this. If you put something like this, you will see the equation in red. If you can copy this and get this, that means that you are already an expert in LaTeX. Now the next thing is now try that first. If you can try it and you get the equation in red, exactly, that means you are getting it. It's very simple. Once you put your mind there, and you can read online, get some materials there. Then another way to write, you can mute your mic and get some echo, please. Now, another way is that you can display your equation. You can begin, apart from beginning equation, you can you can find the alignment of your equation. If you do what I did here, although it's not Please, you can mute your mic, please. Now, this site, you will get what I have in this block. The next thing is that can I see my slide again?
No, we cannot.
Yes. To get some command in LaTex, you can check some of this online. You can check this command online. You can check this website. You can check this website online. And also, Overleaf itself has a lot of online. And I want to show us how can we use what we call, how can we convert table from your Excel file to LaTex. Now, I will quickly show us that. I will have to stop this again and show us. Let's can you see my screen? Can you see my screen? Oh,
we are seeing you.
We are seeing you, sir, not your screen.
Okay. Forget that. Me, my picture. I mean, I don't even know that. Now, let me share my screen now. Let me share my desktop. Can you see my desktop?
Yes, sir, we can see.
Okay, you see Excel to LaTex. Can you see this file on my desktop?
Yeah.
Now, you have to download this Excel to LaTex, and that Excel to LaTex has to be on your desktop. You don't need to install anything. Just put Excel to LaTex on your desktop. And when you have it on your desktop, go to your Excel file. Let's say you have any, go to your Excel file. Let's say you have Y and X. You want to put this table, we have X. Let's say Y. You can see my Excel sheet. Can you see? I want to be sure. You can see my Excel sheet.
Yes, we can.
Okay. Now you have to, let's say
No,
you have
no. I told you, I told you that time. I think I said it was on Thursday. I think we
please mute your mic, please.
2 papers we get, and that's on on Thursday. I told you we did one on Thursday. That was STS-181. Then I said my paper is
STS-181. Please stop.
And I said okay, we now 9 we did do. See, we don't do 7.
Okay. For this, from here, you just move here and see data, review, view. You see add in. Can you see add in on your own Excel? Can you see this adding?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
now
sir.
this adding, once you have Excel to LaTex on your desktop, you click on adding, and you can convert it here. Just copy. Now you can see the LaTex. You can see this LaTex equation. The Excel to LaTex actually converts your table from Excel to this. You can copy it. When you copy it, you now go back to your Excel, and you click on it. Then the table is there already. Let me continue. Do you understand that? I wish you can see. Let me stop sharing again. Okay, I'll share. I have a lot of screen I'm sharing now. Let me go back to this.
Now, please, how can I get the Excel to LaTex file?
Yes, you can download it online. Just download it online. That's all. Excel to LaTex. Download it online and you will see it.
We are not getting, sorry, I wasn't able to download through the link sent. Just that there was difficulty in downloading it. Every
but
other link worked well.
now Excel, just say Excel to LaTeX. See, can you see you can just download it. That's all, just a package. And once you download it, you put it on your Now, if you want to ask question, you can actually use chat box to send your question. I don't know whether I still have any. Let me just finish with a slide. Just finish with the slide. Yeah. Here, after with that, you can work on your table. You can read more about table formatting online. Also, you can I've shown you how it works. Let me move on. Then you must know the two type of errors in LaTeX. When you're working with LaTeX, you know the type of error. Majorly, the most error that we encounter in LaTeX is when you don't close the brackets. Let's say you say begin this, you must end. You say begin the question, you must end the question. Begin itemize, you must end itemize. If you begin and you don't end, a serious error. If you begin document, you must end document. Another error that you find in math is when you are writing mathematics question and you don't put them in mathematics environment. Once you have something like this in your work, you know that you are making errors. But when you're working in overleaf, one of the advantages of overleaf is that overleaf will pardon your error until your error gets a point that, for example, if you make 1, 2, 3 errors, overleaf will still pardon you until when you have maybe 10, 20 errors. By that time, you will not be able to trace your error again. It's better once overleaf indicates one error, you have to stop and check this error. Now, the practical section I want to have, I thought I would be able to share this screen and at the same time share the other screen so that I can show you simultaneously, but I will not be able to do that. And because of time, what I will advise is on your own, you can try something like this using overlay. And if you don't mind, you can share with me also. I can look at it if you can do that. Okay. If you can do all this with your overlay or with your LaTeX, you are already an expert in LaTeX. And something like this, you can work on that. You are, yes. How to put the paper, I think from the template I show, you can, if you have something like this in your, if you get a template like this, let's say you want to use templates, you want to submit paper to Royal Statistical Association Journal. Now let me share the screen. Let me share this again. Let's say you want to submit something to Royal Association Journal. Now you can just say overleaf. Royal Association.
Statistical
Sorry.
Society.
Royal Statistical
Society.
Already here. Now you can see most of these journals have their template. This is series C. What you just need to do is just to open as templates and just follow all these things, the statistics journal style, just put your own topic, your author one, write your own name. You are the first author, you put your affiliation, the second author, you follow the same method. And that's with that, you can get your paper. And most journals now, most papers now, I've had someone who's an editor of one of these journals that's just rejected the paper just because he felt, I don't like the way the person presented the paper. Not if the person has not even take time to read the content, just like it's not properly done. And it's just because maybe the person wrote it in Word and all those things. It might not be a formal excuse, but a lot of times you do that. But when you present your work in a very nice way, even if you are going to reject your paper, it will not be text rejection. You understand what I'm trying to? Even if you are going to be rejection at the end of the day, it's not like you just discard your work. It's good if you present your work in a very good way, like using LaTeX and others. Now, the next thing I want to ask is, do we have any question? If I think I'm running out of time. I just want maybe 1 or 2 questions.
It will be in the question and answer section.
Okay. I think my time is up.
I would like to thank you very well. Thank you very much. Your time is not only up, you have entered in, but we appreciate that. Thank you so much. So I will hand it over to Mr. Eje now for the question and answer section.
Good morning, everybody. We really appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us on this series once again. For me, it has been a very good learning moment, and we will still appreciate if more of this kind of meeting comes up more regularly. It helps us to be focused and then more actively. I'll be conducting the question and answering section. So people who have questions for Dr. Oyamaki and Dr. Ario can begin to type in their question, or probably signify and then unmute themselves and ask the question, so we can have a good interactive section as well. So please, I would love people to start indicating so we can proceed with this section and then get the questions and answer section done in an organized way. As we go along, I would like to thank the last speaker, Dr. Ario. I know personally, some of us would love to have your email as well, so that in case in the future we're working on something and we do not have, we run into some errors, we would like to collaborate with you or ask you or send you some of those stuff so that you can help us get along. You know, we will probably leave us with your email. I won't say phone number, so we won't be disturbing you so much. All right, that's personally from me. Okay, so any question in the house, please? Any question from the first speaker? If you have a question for him as well, we still have all of them available to answer all our questions. Please, we welcome. We have about 69 participants online. Yes. Dr. Aria has given us his email, so we can actually send in future work to him. Okay, we have Mr. Tolu Oladotun. He has a question.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Ario, for the great. All right, thanks. Thank you, Dr. Ario.
Yeah, let's go to now.
Afelumo Oluwa or something, you should please mute. Okay, thank you, Dr. Ario, for the great job, sir. My question is,
please continue with your question.
Please go ahead with your question. We're listening. Mr. Oladotun. Okay, in between, Dr. Ario, someone sent in a question. He said, what's the difference between overleaf and latex?
Yeah, the latex is the latex overleaf is an editor, latex editor.
Online editor.
Yes, it's just an online editor. Like when you ask maybe what's the difference between R and R Studio, you know, R Studio cannot work without R. And latex is actually the main thing, but overleaf just an editor, but it's online.
Thank you very much. I hope Mr. Yaya Suleiman, are you satisfied with the question? Doctor has just answered it. Now, more questions. We're waiting for more questions in the house. Let's make this an interactive section.
Can I go on with my question now, please?
Yes, please.
Yes, the floor is open.
Okay,
go ahead,
thank
sir.
you. Please, Dr. Ario, when we are done with the editing and the recompilation, does it automatically save as a PDF? Or what is the process to saving the document as a PDF?
automatically, once you compile, it's saved automatically as PDF. Have I answered your question?
Yes, I want to say this now. The process that takes me to the editing is probably through my selection of maybe it's an academic journal or something else, and then I'm done. I'm trying to do the recompilation. When it's saving as a PDF, is it saving on Overleaf or is saving on my desktop?
If you are working with Overleaf, it saves in Overleaf, not on your desktop. You don't have anything on your desktop. That means that if you want to work on, maybe you forgot your laptop or something happened to your laptop, you can get somebody else's laptop and open everything's there. It's a cloud editor. It's not on your laptop.
Okay, thank you, sir. So that means if I want to share or I want to send it to wherever it needs to go to outside of Overleaf, I'll just share a link from Overleaf.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but there's something I didn't tell you. If you are using free Overleaf, you cannot share. But if you are using a paid Overleaf, you can share. That's different. For me, I was able to share with you because my Overleaf is paid Overleaf. I have an account that I paid. It's not for free. The collaborating part is not for free. But if you are using the one that you want to work on your own, just want your work to be safe, it's for free. But when you want to collaborate more than one person, you have to pay. It's like when you are using Zoom. You can use Zoom with one person without paying. Yeah. But if you are going to use Zoom for that, you have to pay. That's just different.
Okay, in that regard, Dr. Ario, please.
Yeah.
Okay, come in, madam.
Okay, Dr. Ario, as regarding sharing or not sharing, if you want to, but you can download your work.
Yes, you can download your work.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Dr. Ario, we have another question in the house. Somebody said one version of LaTex is the best. He said the one he's using fails to show in PDF.
Yes, once that's the problem. If you are using open source, okay, you have to read if you are using open source, you have to understand the compiling tool very well, because if you don't have the correct version of that compiling tool with your system, you may find it difficult. Okay. That's but I can't tell you this one. I use a text center and sometimes give me problem. And somebody said RStudio is better, but I've not used RStudio for a long time. I will not be able to say this is best, but you must understand the one you are using.
Okay, someone else is asking another question. Says, how can you convert the latest work to Microsoft Word, like Microsoft document?
Actually, that's very challenging. It's okay. Just like you want to download, you want to convert PDF to LaTeX and to Word. Definitely, you can't get you can't get exactly what you can't get exact material.
There will be some text that will come in.
Yes. But it's the same thing. Funny
text.
Yeah, but what I do is like if I need to convert, I'll just copy and paste. You know, if there's some word that you write, some text, just copy those texts, put it in Word. Then the equation you have to type it again, like you are typing normal equation. That's just.
Okay. So basically, the best format to work with LaTeX is PDF. That's the best.
No, PDF. LaTeX actually give PDF as the
PDF.
The output.
All right. Okay, we are still waiting for more questions from Pakistan. We have less than 5 minutes to go on this session, so that we can wrap it up. More questions, and even for the first speaker, is also available if you have questions for him. I think many people who join in that session will also want to ask one or two questions.
I think one Leke is raising up his hand.
Yeah,
Hello, Mr.
I wasn't sure my.
We please attend. Mr. Eje, we please attend to Mr. Leke. Yeah, he's raising his hand.
What he wrote was raining, so I was like, it was actually raining in my end. So I was saying it as a compliment, like maybe he's having, So if you're raising your hand, Mr. Leke, come up, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Ide. I was just wondering if Dr. Ayo can share the source code for the slides, please.
Source code for the slide, Dr. Ayo, sir.
Well, I can only share the PDF. I cannot share the short the code.
The source code.
Yes.
But I think
because
some of the codes are contained in the material, the presentation materials, sir.
Yes, some of the code are in presentation material. But
Okay.
what if I get him right is what is asking for is the template itself, the soft. If I get him right, I may not be able to share that because LaTex give us opportunity to actually customize our work just to make it your own. So that anytime I'm doing presentation, this is how my work look like. If you are using your own, this is how it look like. It's not that I have the template from someone. I'm trying to build that kind of template, and that's because of that I don't want to share the code.
But I also like to add that the template can also be gotten from the net. You can always type whatever you want on it.
Yes, you can get the template from the net.
And you can get the code.
Yeah, you can get the code, you can get templates from the net, and you can get it from the net. But this particular one, I may not be able to share it.
Okay, that's understandable. I hope the question has been answered very well, Mr. Lee.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. If there is no any other more question, I think we'll be wrapping up the section. But before we go, let's just give 1 more minute to anyone who wants to ask another question, please. Anyone in the house? Anyone in the house?
All right.
Any of the questions?
Yeah, I have a question. Please. All right, this is for the first presenter. Good morning, everyone.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, my question is this: most often, when it has to do with modeling, one of those things that happens to be a serious problem is the aspect of estimation. So my question is, how do we go about estimating the tangent hyperbolic function? So that's my
question. Okay,
I said as regards the tangent hyperbolic function, that's for the first presenter. How do we go about estimating the parameters therein? So that's my
parameter for the tangent hyperbolic. Okay, all right.
Yes.
Okay, we'll be allowing Dr. Yamartin to answer to respond to that question. Dr. Yamartin, the floor is yours. Are you online with us?
Oh yeah, I'm here. Now, thank you for that question.
Thank you very much, sir.
Because of some of those functions are very, very difficult to estimate computationally. Do you understand? And that was why I showed the simplification of the hyperbolic sine function. Okay, to the point that we have a computationally less stressful expression to look into. I mean that of the log of the absolute value of x plus square root of 1 plus s squared. So if we have to estimate the parameter of the tangent function, we need to first of all evaluate that function into a simpler, mechanism that will be easier for us to computationally handle. Okay, putting it like that into your model could result into some parameter not converging, because of course these are parameters that are iteratively estimated. Okay, so you might have convergence problem if you use them the way it is, even though we are trying to look at the possibility of taking it straight into Python. But I have tried it severally on R. It will not converge until you have first simplified the function into at least a computationally less difficult function.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Martin. I hope the question has been addressed, Sam. Hope you are satisfied. Or you have another
Yes, I'm satisfied, but I have the last question. I'm sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
It's still for the first presenter. We're looking at the shape of the plot. That's particularly for that tangent. I observed that it has a similar shape as that of logistic, which of course the presenter talked about. Can we then say that it belongs to the family of logistic regression model? That's for the tangent hyperbolic function.
No, not necessarily. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes.
Okay, no, not necessarily, because these functions are plotted using arbitrarily choosing numbers. Okay, just for us to see how they look in terms of their curve. Okay, but for logistics, you will have the S shape with the carrying capacity clearly shown stated. Okay, but for the hyperbolic, for the tangent function, if you look at it, it is a little bit smallish in nature, meaning that there is an embedded slow rate of growth attached to it. All right, so they are not in the same family, even though they can be used to modify some of these existing distribution. It doesn't mean, that was why I said, if you are going to be using a tangent function, it must be for a system whereby it takes time before you get some noticeable growth. For example, if I'm looking at Milicia SSR now, I'm looking at an Iroko tree. If I checked the diameter of an Iroko tree this year, it may still be the same measurement that is still there next year. Okay? It may take me another 10 years before I have, noticeable difference in terms of the diameter. So some of these systems can be modeled using that. But there are some other species that if you get there every year, you can have measurement that is greater or equal to what you have previously. So these are the areas through which those can be used. But logistic itself depends on the exponential through the introduction of the carrying capacity. Hello.
Yeah, thank you for the response. I think I'm satisfied. That's all my question. Thank you so much.
All right.
Mr. Adrian. All right, thank you very much. So, like everyone that participates in this program, we appreciate your presence and your patience. Thank you so much. So, we'd like to say thank you as we bring this program to a close right now. I wouldn't know if she has anything to tell us.
Thank you. Can you hear me, please? Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Yes,
you.
we can hear you, sir.
Yeah, I still want to appreciate everybody for the time we spent to attend to this event. And at the same time also to inform everybody that this Nigerian Royal Statistical Society Nigerian local group is open to everybody, being a statisticians, mathematician, or data users. And joining us means that if you are participating with what you are doing here is free. But you want to join the entire body, that is a Royal Statistical Society, that is in London. We have different type of membership that you can get on our RSS your website. So please you can go to RSS website and see how you can be a member. And if you have anything to ask, you can get across to me. So I appreciate everybody for your time. Thank you and God bless you all.
Thank you so much, sir. So thank you very much, everybody. So we would like to go for now, and we also hope and be next you call, you answer us. Thank you very much. And thanks to the presenters, thank you so much. Bye.